Ooh. Ah. Oh my God, Dinary, good evening. Thursday, see? Mighty God. We just need some brought forward stew peas. My God. I spent my day into an internet cafe because I had some things to do with YouTube. And then I said, no, I'm too worthless. Never start up my laptop. Yellow is the color. Mike tell me, say, when the first time I put on a blouse, Mike tell me, say, I have it on black pants. So Mike tell me, say, I look like a bumblebee. You look like a bumblebee. So the guy clean off everything off of the laptop and clean out the something where if you use a little mouse thing, pull it up too. So I never know if I get back YouTube now because I'm not so computer literate. So I try. Look up for me. I'm plug it in right at there. Oh my God, I am thirsty. Oh. You ever drink only for water? You're thirsty, but your belly can't hold no more. But your mouth want the water and your throat want the water. My belly can't hold no more, I swear. Yeah, I'm good for now, so. But him said me for buy this one SSD, I said name, SSD 256 gigabyte something. So I beg the sister buy it for me. Because she'll come Friday. So I beg her buy it for me. She come beg her about the money. Because I can't beg her buy nothing else. I beg her buy too much things. So that's it there for now. Yeah, but I try to say over download it. I don't know where to do. I don't know where to start. But did I do something and the internet cut. I mean, I wonder why go on. I'm not seeing no internet. But they say the computer is self-explanatory, so maybe just play with it and we'll get it and another hand, not another brain, you know. I will get to it. Oh my God. You send me there the place. Hey, look. Good night, people. Good night, good night, good night, good night, everyone. Good night, good afternoon, good evening. Guess up on yourself. When more people come, you tell you again. Hope you all had a great day. I did want to make one wig, because I have one little, I do want to make a little blunt straight hair wig. I'm dyed in a burgundy. And I really want to make it. I'm going to make it when I'm done the live still. I'm going to make it and tomorrow I dye it, because I want it for a funeral. I want it for a country Friday or a funeral Saturday. So I make it with I'm done. I may come off 10:30. I need to have a fixed time to come off. A fixed time to come off, yeah. We can't do that 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock something there. Probably on a Friday night. Me not get for exercise and them something there, you know. Not get for exercise. And go up on my machine. Me I see one something my friend sent to me. But me want to know if this real. This not real. This can't real. Well, me don't know still enough because something where we see. Skid Squad. Good evening. Like up the live as you come, people. Like up the live as you come, please. Share the live. So, when me say me can't pronounce the word good, the word not hard for pronounce, you know, but it's a tight tongue for me. Exactly, yeah. Me just going to sew it on tonight, but tomorrow I'm going to cut it. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to cut it. Tomorrow I'm going to cut it, yeah. Because I don't want to cut it in the night. I want to cut it in the day, more daylight. And cut it and get a nice little wash and rinse it and burgundy. Burgundy here weird? Burgundy are weird? They don't know. Anything are weird. It now go bright. Want it to have like a 99J look. I want this bright burgundy, yeah. What them call it now? Himalayan. I don't know if I pronounce it right. Himalayan. Himalayan. Or Himalayan. However, Himalayan. Probably a Himalayan. You know, we pronounce a Jamaica A like E too. Some I don't know. Yeah, more than nice, pretty little Himalayan. So it's Himalayan, yeah. Look at it. The monkey flowers, it's said to bloom only once every 20 years. They are all bright little monkeys. The world is truly, what I say? The world is truly vast and full of wonders. God is great and we can't even begin to fathom His awesomeness. Wow. Look at it. Look at it, people. Look how beautiful it is. Pretty, man. It's like some real little monkeys. Yeah. The first I see them, at the first me I see them, every 20 years they bloom. But you know, so me not even did know, say, one cactus what me have there. Me never know say it bloom, you know. Me never know say it bloom. Well, God is awesome, man. Very, very awesome, eh? Very, very awesome. So awesome. Me say, I mean, I do me something on the laptop and what me do, you know, and I get through, you know. And the internet just drop, just cut. Oh, your mom send it to you. I saw my friend to her mother send it to her. Ingrid, good evening. Her mother sent it to her too. Beautiful man. I first never see it. Never know nothing about that. Never know nothing about that. First me see it. But you friend, if you see some flowers will bloom, you know. Friend, to see some flowers that bloom. Trust me. Really nice. Because me have one cactus. You never know say it bloom. You never know say it bloom at all. See it here. Me never know say them little common cactus a bloom. Me have it in my yard. Me never know say it bloom. And one day me see it, me say box foot. Then them a bloom. Me never know say it bloom. In grade what go on? Yeah. One have a little yellow and white. Yellow and white. You see like if me use what the broomstick and go so, just lick it, you hear the water inside of it. The water inside of it. Yeah, them store water too. You know, sometimes some things, you know, that what we see me I tell you because sometimes you see some fruit, some food, you know. Me pick a care from my tree every now and then we get a 5 pod with 5 into it, you know, every now and then. You buy guinea pig get twin, well that common. You buy you see piece of yam, the yam shape like man something, woman something, shape like all one big bottom girl with 2 legs. Yeah, them shape like hey, them me don't know nature, right? Nature. Nature, nature, nature. Let me do some sharing here. Nature. You see all kind of things, yeah? I want light there up there now. Now tell me say Ingrid and Debbie not like up the live. It look like say YouTube a glitch again. Cause me I see one like up there and one like from my phone. What is happening? What is really happening, people? What is happening? What's up with you guys? Oh my god. Oh. I think Sharon daughter, Sasan more. Um, she's gonna lay her daughter to rest the 27th. Yeah. I'm sorry, I couldn't get for even go the service because I would. But I have a funeral the 27th also in Trelawney. But I would definitely go and support, you know. It wouldn't be a problem for me. Not a problem. You know, see no button? Or a joke I make. Lord, my belly full, me just don't eat one rat, it's sitting full of stew peas. I'm gonna turn up trying to go on my bed. Yes, Saturday energy. I saw a Saturday a funeral. A Saturday a funeral, so I'm supposed to come home Saturday night. Come home, I'm gonna tired like a dog. I remember say, I'm not go sleep good the Friday car. Remember people yard, me I go there. And they say, and me can't sleep sound at people yard, because I not sleep out. You understand? So me have to sleep. So me not go sleep sound. Me I go sleep and, you know, if a pin drop, me I go hear. And a country me there. I may go there a long time, I not hear cricket. I go hear one of cricket, so I not go sleep. Because cricket to that go on now. But then Friday night and I set up still. I say you call it set up the night before the funeral. Friday I set up still. The night before the funeral. Then better try avoid for country food for me, you know. Because I love my ground food. I love my ground food. I love my ground food. Well, come home with all for country food. Boy, I don't know, you know. I don't know where I go on with the little girl Ivani. Because you're hearing this, you're hearing that over Pink Wall. Over Pink Wall say she free. Yeah. It's over Pink Wall say she free. She get released. Everybody's speculating, I think. Everybody's speculating. Because you hear this right here, so. You understand? And you hear something else. That's so. You don't know. You don't know what to, you know, what to believe. You know. You don't know what to believe. I just hope everything work out. She knows say she did forget lock up, you know. But then she did go for PR money, you know. She knows say she did forget lock up. Amanda will Sharon, but I don't know which out her daughter. Her daughter in a Kingston. In a Kingston her daughter bury. Yes, so it not that far from me. It not hard for me go. Yeah, in a Kingston. Because she sent me the thing there. She sent me the something in the program. Something. So, I would have go, you know. It wouldn't be a problem. Wouldn't be a problem at all. I would have gone and give my support, you know. I remember when I just start YouTube, I'm over here, Sharon used to over here with me every night, you know. And gratitude is a must, you know. Yeah. Gratitude is a must. Me see one thing there. Why what I think we are going with the DPP, man? The DPP, I forgot. I told her she gone home then say. May I tell you if our case need much prayer. Whole heap of prayer it need. Whole heap of prayer. I mean I know. You're hearing a lot of things, right? And what people don't understand. If they are not hearing from our lawyers, they're all speculations. You understand? They are all speculations unless they are hearing from our lawyers. You know? I don't know. But it depends. Pink will say she's released. I don't know. I don't know. Because RT say he's not going to give any deep details. You understand? But him say things look good. That's the last update I got from RT and Nurse Brown. I trust RT and Nurse Brown update on the situation, yeah. Because, you know, RT literally speaking with our lawyers, you know, communicating, having dialogue with our lawyers, yeah. Exactly, they all don't add up, yeah. I prefer to listen to RT because RT was in dialogue with her lawyer, with both lawyers, because she have a criminal lawyer and a lawyer to deal with her immigration status case. Yeah. So you know everybody speculate. Yeah. Everybody speculate. And then the blogger them so damn desperate, some of them for one content. Them not do them research, them not listen to credible people, them just as them hear one piece of sitting and just run with it. You understand? And then the listener, the viewers, them some of them so gullible. Because me they listen one blogger, one guy. And him dep on him something. You see me tell you no? You see me tell you no, say anything you hear me say, you know, I saw it going, you know. You know, see me tell you no? Say pretty than confess there. Say she pregnant for cargo for true. Say she confess, me tell you no, say I never lie. And I say, oh my God, is this guy listening to himself? Pretty Dan is just playing cargo game with him. Mighty God. Pretty Dan is just playing cargo game with him. And the boy believe me say, oh my God, you are so gullible. We couldn't help it but type it. Me say you are so gullible. And you want to hear him like him just bust a case. Yeah. It sound like him just bust a case. Good night, Aaron. Yeah, so like him just bust a case. Him so gullible. Me I say then, him believes they put it on a cargo in a relationship for true. And she pregnant. Yeah, but you put it on a cargo for her case already. Put it on so she don't even have no womb. Me don't know what to them blagger. Them too gullible man, everything them take up and believe and run with. Everything them run with. And you want to hear him run come like him just bust a case, him just get some good news and not a thing. It not even near so. It not even near so. More than she just play a cargo game with him. That's all she do. Play a cargo game with him. Because cargo don't have nothing to do. It's just a playing game. That's all. But that's how it go. So it go. Yes, so tonight we're talking about mental health, people. So We're going to talk about mental health today, and our dear Derval is going to give us some update because he's in that field. Yes, so he's going to give us some update. So we are waiting on him. He soon be in. Yes, and he's going to give us some update. Because especially in our Jamaican diaspora, I must say, we don't really take mental health that serious. Why, I don't know. We don't really take it that serious. And I see it every day. I live it. Yeah. We don't take it serious. And, every little thing, we don't have that little remorse. We don't have we don't have no form of remorse. And people, no, I'm not going to walk. He soon come. Because me text him before I come on. I watch football matches, say. Yeah. We don't take it serious at all, everything, well, probably some always say, the mad boy, the mad girl, not really, we don't really mean nothing, when there's somebody do stupid things, like the little stupid thing where Sophia Dunkley do camp and do, man. Live, yeah. That's madness, total madness, yeah. me call she slow. Yeah, she's slow, like Kedisha. So she name? Yeah, the two of them slow. I don't know, they're slow. But that's a different case. And I say I'm thirsty. My mouth dry like chip and my belly can't take no more water. So I have to go drink to really quench this. Room temperature. No ice water. The ice water just feel nice for gobble down, but it's not doing its job. Yeah, nah, do the job. A tree likes me, see, mighty God. Anyway. So, yeah, we don't take it serious at all. None at all, we don't take it serious. Because we will know, so, somebody have mental issue, like serious mental issue. Where, them not sound right. And we just, we just throw it under the rug. We have family members have mental issue, and we feel, I don't know if I cried sometime or we feel, but we don't want to acknowledge that is mental issue. Not to the boy, not to the girl. Just because our baby father left her, or because him father dead, or whatever it is. People are walking around delusional, depressed and demented, and causing lots of problems in society. Yeah, for real. Because remember, this did come over the news with this young guy, and him just chop off his mama neck, his grandmother neck, and say she's a chicken. They know he had mental problem. But them want, if you see something off with your loved one, with your kid, this is something off. Not shame their night. Because we will not understand, You see, mental problem is an illness. It's a illness, Just like when you have diabetes, just like somebody have cancer. You understand? Just like somebody have kidney failure. Them have asthma. What is a illness. You have mental health. It's an illness. That's all. Just a illness, just a sickness. That's all. Just like any other sickness. It's not nothing to discriminate. It's just a sickness, just like any other sickness. And plenty of us don't even know. Look how much how we get diabetes and we never know so whether I get it. May I live my life for long. You did ask for diabetes? We don't even eat sweet things. I pay salty things me eat and I'm under pressure. Because I love salt. All when I'm pregnant, I feed up little salt from my station when I work and tap on my tongue every minute. Day now. Good evening, sweetie. There's a people with the sugar now bust my throat though. YouTube is showing you the correct number of likes. What is the correct number of likes, Debbie? Me I say 4. But me not see none on my phone right here. Oh yeah, listen, but you're away. Yeah, it's a sickness like any other sickness, people. Like any other sickness. Look on the little guy when it's sick, when mother and father, they must say a pastor and sitting. But them just feel like say yes, true, them a Christian or whatever. We not say you can't pray about whatever either. You can't pray. But you can pray about it and you can get the young man to see a doctor. And it work hand in hand. Yeah, it work hand in hand. Pray to get the right doctor. Yeah, and pray that the doctor get him well. You know? And something. Pray about that now. Them have the boy, they nothing to do him. Him need to get baptized, him need to get turn Christian, him need for this, him need for that. How way boy do? The boy no murder it, what then? The boy mad, the boy sick. He have a mental issue. You understand? He have a mental issue. What's dangerous are the ones who know to mask it. They function normally and the slightest trigger causes them to explode. And if I tell you, lots of these mental issues illness ended up with people losing their lives. Yeah. For real. Them what normal because mental issue no mean say you have to be schizophrenia, you know? And you go mad and out the road and eat out a rubbish pan or whatever. You understand? And dep on road. Because remember, say, I know everybody dep on road, you see, have mental issue. Some of them are just unfortunate, they are homeless. People who know we live in America can know that. A lot of people are homeless. You understand? But it's not mental health. And mental health, them just have to just dash with them pride and just admit the facts of them homeless. You understand? Shaming at the game and they might shy away and you understand? That don't mean say them mad. Yeah. Them are the dangerous one for true, Debbie, and people know, the loved ones know, some of them know. So them have mental issue. Me see it happen. Me see it happen with one girl, I know their baby father. All them say, him father said, not a thing to do the boy, not a thing to do the boy. Until the boy do something drastic. Me don't know why people don't want to admit it, that their loved ones are sick, have mental problem. Me know people have mental problem, but them take them meds, you know. If them take them meds and them okay, you know. Me live with a schizophrenia uncle for years. Me question and get a little history on him. And mama say, me lock off this, shut down this guy. Tonight when time no I do nothing. Nothing there. Oh, but I think we can do that tonight. Tonight may I make my wig. Yeah. And yeah, me grow with my schizophrenia uncle. I mean, we get a little narrative about him. Question. And my uncle did a good job of water commission and thing. You know, educated man, because one thing with mama was so lacked an education, you know. She was very, what the word that I look for now? She was very serious when it come on to education because she had to go to Jamal. But not because, you know, she wasn't like, say, go school and going like bull and come like Johnny Kate. No, she didn't get a chance to go. Yeah, didn't get a chance to go. But then she still, you know, educate herself and she make sure that her kids got them education. Very, very serious when it come on to that. And, you know, Mama tell me, say, you know, him go to England, him always say, he want to come help him mother and him father. Him grandmother is a housewife and him father is a tin cement maker. You know, them used to make wash pan and them something there. Yeah, Papa used to do that work there. My grandfather is an Indian. He likes straight holy Bible Indian, you know. I swear, yeah. Used to plait up Papa ear and as I plaited it just goes, so I just pull right out. And I say, Mama say, in their England and him just write. He used to write some letters and the letters then don't make no sense. Where am I write? Good night, Vicky. And I saw them, I said, no man, you know, something wrong with him. Look at that lady that visit 99 at times. She has mental issues and whenever she's on her meds, she's such a nice person. But when she needs that injection, Lord have mercy. True. They just have to take them meds. Yeah. And Mama said the letter them where I write now make no sense. So I saw now one of her other son now. One of Mama other son, Uncle P. You know, write a letter to the, you know, whoever High Commissioner over there, the embassy. And you know them look for him and because he was working because for years him got him pension from England. For years him getting pension from England, yeah, because he used to work government work and so and him put like a job and thing, but it never made no sense. And then find him and him carry him home and him come home and and you know it get worse. Because them say just a laugh and walk, put a cigarette and bulb to light it. And then he wouldn't want to go to the doctor because he might think nothing wrong with him. So they tie him up on one cart, and carry him by you, carry him to hospital. Me don't know about them something there. I hear me here. Yeah, Mama tell me a story. So but when they grow up now, me used to see him, you know, Uncle Kenneth just laugh for no reason at all, but enough to give him a joke and talk to himself. But then me not afraid of him because of my uncle. I live with him. We live in the same house with me. You understand? But Uncle Kenneth used to take him meds because he used to go and do every month. I'm doctor. Go see the doctor. Because I used to trim him as a little girl. As someone knows, I have to be a hairdresser to Oxford. I used to trim him every month. I trim him as a little girl. I trim him. And him go, you go doctor. And him put in a fasties and him go a doctor. One time I go fasties and one time I go doctor. And sitting. And I remember, but he used to smoke and the doctor said allow him to smoke. You know, make him smoke. And Uncle Kenneth take him pill and he would still get one little work. You know? And my mother used to go market every week. You understand? Me remember me used to beg him go pick up my daughter, when I have my daughter them. Him go pick up my twin them from the daycare for me. Till when my mother come home, him go pick them up. Because me come home late, because you know I just work me do. Yeah. Him could have, you know, can take him meds. And we know say him sick. And him know say him family love him. But he used to do some crazy thing my mother say, you know, when my little my mother said she had run around at the shop and she said the rain she set up, you know, and she put me in a one bath pan because she never had no pram. And you know, them stuff it with pillar or whatever and put me in there. I make me lean back. And she said, Kenneth, I name Kenneth, to call him Uncle Kenneth. If the rain come down carrying Bam Bam, coming in Bam Bam from a barn, you know. And you know, say my mother said she run at the shop and a big shower rain come down and she said me home, she run go back run at the rain because she feel like me out there. You know, say Uncle Kenneth go in our house and lock the door and left me outside in the rain, soaking wet. Soaking wet. Because what? He's sick. If you understand, he's sick. You know, them said used to do something. Come the family said she put me on the bed for lie down. And put some pillow or something. Something that drop off. And for the life of her, she don't know why I'm gone on her bed to lie down. And he just take a pillow and shoot them over, and shoot them over, and shoot them over. I go lie down on the front of her bed. If I couldn't find me when she come to her room, she couldn't find me. I not drop. I'm too looking for them to see her go so. Mental health. You know? Sick. But you know, you have to watch them. You have to watch them. You have to love them. Sit with us and take them meds. You understand? Yeah, him do some crazy things. You used to do some crazy things, yes. But nothing, you know, detrimental. I remember one night, the belly that hurt me. I'm a thing there. The same acid reflux something with that trouble when my belly hurt me, I eat certain things. No. And it was acid reflux or I don't know if I was the appendix them time there acid reflux. And my belly hurt me till I faint. And me faint and I was about 2 o'clock in the morning that. It made me feel like I want to go to the bathroom, but I not defecate, so I just make me feel that way there. And I didn't find me. Because at night time, him walk up and down and pace in the living room and smoke. You understand? Yeah. We moved from Honey Garden. My mother carried me with her come up Portmore. She never leave him down there. She carried me with her brother. My mother and his father died. You understand? So, she not going to look on it say, you know, this a sister, you can't take him or this, that. She carried with her brother. We have to love we, you know, we have to love we, and you know how Uncle Kenneth died, you know, so I drop him, and lick him head and get a concussion, and end up going lie down and sleep, and never get up back, because nobody wasn't there to tell him don't go sleep, and drop and lick him head. Big yard family, good night, bless up yourself. Like up the live. When I like up the live, people give me some likes, no man. 8 likes, me see up there. What I go on with? Like, make sure you like up the live, Big Yard family. Feel like my mosquito bite me a while ago. I don't know. Yeah. We have to take the mental health thing serious. They're all you need for coming at the place, you know. Because I don't know where you're there. Oh. No friend text me. That's what I realize. Oh, you hear me? Good night, sir. You hear me? Eh?
I sent you 2 messages. So hold on before we talk. Can you hear me, or do I need to take out my earpiece? Because I'm also gonna use my nose. So can you hear me?
Yeah, man. We can't hear you clear. You're hearing Derval people on the live? Let me get something to ice up this.
Right. So you get up and gone there already.
No man, we gone for something for ice up the live, so we can't hear. So the speaker can do exactly where the phone is.
Okay.
Yeah. But we cannot hear an echo Derval.
Hold on. Because I had to use my... Are you still hearing the echo?
No, I was hearing me.
Oh yeah, because I had you on multiple devices.
Okay, so turn down the one that you're not using.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's totally off.
Okay.
First of
it's
all,
okay
I want to say massive good evening. I'm not. I mean, Deanery. God bless. I'll just call out names: Ingrid, Dania, other people in the chat, Debbie, to have missed your name. It's just a pleasure for me this evening to be talking about issues related to mental health. The amount of things I have to say, it would take an entire day. It would take a month, it would take a year. But we're going to deal with some of the basic things that affects our mental health. And we're also going to touch on a very important topic, which is borderline personality disorder, which a lot of people do have but not recognizing it. But the first thing we're gonna look at when it relates to mental health, and believe it or not, in some cultures, and I think we have had this discussion before, in that we see it in our, we say culture, we say in our society, in our Jamaican societies, that a lot of people are hard in accepting mental health and its effects on the individual person. We oftentimes see, like, someone might be in a crisis and they're borderlining, and the first thing comes to someone's head, maybe they must smoke something, or they must take some kind of drugs.
True.
And they're not trying to find the source where the problem lies. So let's night, first, because I won't, go ahead.
No, I was just saying good night to Tiffany.
Oh, yes, Tiffany. Good night, Tiffany. So I hope that during this little chat we have, any one of the ladies on the chat or person, whoever you are, I see Dania says she's away, but she's listening. So if Tiffany would like to join, if Ingrid or God bless anyone who would like to join, I would so appreciate it, because the reason why I appreciate it is that I do group sessions. So I have 4, 5, 6 people at a time that are going through mental health related issues, and there's some people that are borderline. So let's look at a few.
But let me say, interject. How do you know when someone is borderline?
Good question, and I'm going to touch on that, and this is just beautiful. We're going to touch on that, and I'm going to show you a few things that borderline affect us and the many ways that it affects us, right?
Okay.
With borderline, you have intense emotional pain and mood, baseline moods. So sometimes someone will say to you, come to you and say, Bam Bam, last night I couldn't sleep and I was just tossing and turning in bed all night, and I just don't feel myself. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That is the early process of the onset. You understand? So this now can lead you into depression, anxiety, and anger. You understand? But we're not gonna focus on depression, because if we focus on depression, depression itself is different. We're not going to focus on anxiety, because anxiety itself is different, and we're not going to stay focused on anger. We're going to talk about the effects of borderline, the signs/symptoms.
Okay.
You understand? But before we touch, and generally when I am dealing with the members, we generally have our quotes, and I like to use quotes. So the quote I use is that your struggle do not define you, an act of love. What does that signify when we talk about the struggles that defining an act of love? A lot of people reach out for love and just a little bit of comfort, even a word, even solace, in the sense that, how are you doing? Even a hug is an act of love.
Yeah.
Listening to what someone has to say to you. Say, Debbie or Ingrid or Tiffany or Dana, they're having a bad day, and they come to me and they come to you and they said, Bam Bam, can you give me 5 minutes? Can you give me 2 minutes? Can you give me a minute to just listen to what I have to say? I have a problem. I want you to hear me out. Now, one has to recognize that your answer or your response doesn't have to be exact or correct. But what you try to do is find the time to listen to what the person has to say. You understand? And this is where sometimes as people we err, because we think that within ourselves we are above listening to the person, or we'll just shrug off the person and say, me no want to hear it. You understand? Which we find happen a lot in our society, especially in our Jamaican culture.
Yeah.
Now, we must, what I want the friends to remember, borderline personality disorder is totally different from PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. It's totally different. We're talking about two different things here. You understand? We're focusing on mental health and the onset, the many things that create problems for you as an individual. Because sometimes somebody say, the person they look crazy. You understand? But what are the underlying effects? What is the trigger? Because Bambam and friends, everyone has a trigger. A simple thing as a divorce. Say, for example, you're with your spouse, and everything seems to be nice. You're getting along well, no problems in the relationship. It looks like you're all good and dandy. And one day, any of the spouse, whether male or female, just get up and say, you know what? I'm done. I want to move on. I'm tired of the relationship. And I'm going to bring forth some things tonight that might sound strange to some of our friends when it comes to mental illness, because people might not believe this. Changes, one of them is changes in your sex drive. People would say, Derval, are you serious? Yes, yes, even changes in your sex drive. Borderlines mental health. You have no more feeling for it. The person might not be doing it the way you want, or you just tell yourself, you know what? I'm by myself for a long time. I don't need it no more. I don't need a partner. And these are things that you guys can in the future research. Another one is excessive anxiety and stress. You're anxious. Everything. Oh, we stress out. How many of us have used that word? We stress out, man. Yeah. You understand? But what level? What is the level of stress that you're experiencing? Someone says something to you and it's not what you want to hear, and you say to yourself, you know what? You're not picking up for me, which is a term that a lot of us use in our society. Let's say then Jamaicans then, because we know mental health is broad-based, but just look at our society in general. Someone says something to you and say, well, I'm stressed out there, man. I don't want to hear what you have to say. You understand? But then you have to also have to think of the other person. This person has reached out to you. So now you're telling them you're stressed out because what? You're rejecting them. So you're inside your head and overall, you want to have absolutely nothing to do with them. Understand? So now you put that person in a position, or those persons in a position where they tell themselves, you know what? I'm going to do harm to myself. Instead of finding time to listen, to be transparent with them, to show them, to listen them out. Even if in your thoughts you're saying they are talking foolishness. Because how many of us have used that word? I be foolishness, them he a chat or she a chat. You understand? But then paying attention to what they have to say, listening to what they're saying, it's a sign of, you know what? Someone is there to hear me out. Another thing that affects us is lack of energy. You feel lethargic. You get up and you're going through the mental related situations. You have no energy. You don't want to do anything. You get up, you come in, you become a couch. They call you a couch pigeon. You just sit on the couch. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to even get up and make a cup of tea. You don't want to even eat. You understand? Because you're going through a crisis in your life. You're going through a moment. You're going through a time where you tell yourself, you know what? Let me die then. And we see this even with what I do. There are people that have to be placed in situations, won't disclose much, that they're being fed, force-fed. Someone who said it's abuse, no, it's not abuse. Because at the end of the day, you don't want them to starve to death. So there are other ways and means that they would use to try to even get them to be able to eat so that they can, gain strength. Avoiding friends and family. This is terrible, terrible, terrible. And it happens a lot. You shut yourself off from friends and family. So let's play this out. Ingrid get up one day and she heard that her aunt said something about her. Even though it's true, Ingrid don't want to face the situation. So Ingrid says, call up her sister, and she said, I can't believe my aunt said this about me, and she knew that it was in confidence or it's something that should stay within the family. So Ingrid said, you know what? I'm using you, Ingrid, tonight as a part of it. And Ingrid said, you know what? Me don't want nothing to do with nobody. You know, a real Jamaican talk, so she just shut off everybody. So Debbie, who is our best friend, call her, she don't answer her phone. Our father call her, she don't answer her phone. Our mother call her, she don't answer her phone. Neighbors call her, she don't answer her phone. And everybody is now worried because what happened to Ingrid? Ingrid is home, lock herself in, don't want to talk to nobody. So the conscious individuals who care about Ingrid called the police and they said, you know what? I haven't heard from Ingrid in a day, 2 days, 3 days. I don't know if she's safe or something is going on. We don't know what's going on with her. Let's, go and do a health checkup, just to see how she's doing.
Derval, let me interject. Read Tiffany's comment.
Oh, read Tiffany's comment? Oh, yeah. Hold on, I wasn't looking at it. Hold on. Give me a minute. I wasn't looking at the comments, Hold on. Tiffany. Yes, okay, yes, Tiffany, it's BDT, okay. It includes many changes in emotions, yes. BDT is also known as emotional deregulation. It's better understood instead of personal. Persons think it means having two personality, but it's not what it means. I know about BDT, and I haven't dwelt too much, Tiffany, in that area, because I think Tiffany remember, it's a very good thing you brought this up. If you remember a while back, Tiffany, way back when there was a movie, I don't remember the name of the movie that came out, and there was a situation where somebody was living four or three different personalities. I don't remember the name of the movie. So, like as I said before, I haven't touched that area, as it relates to that, but I can understand what you're saying, about having two personalities. As I said before, the whole thing is it's broad based. It's broad based because if you look at it, Tiffany, a lot of times people say, I feel like something else, another person, or I feel this way, I feel that way. So would we define it as having two personalities? As I'm not an expert in that, and I stand corrected in that. I would leave that to someone who is on the higher echelon to explain that or to dwell more deeply in that. But I do understand what you're saying. You understand? But what I'm doing now in regards to mental health, we deal with the causes that relates to it and the borderline areas that bring about some of the problems that people experience. So, as I said before, there are areas that they are still doing in-depth research. They're still trying to find out a lot of areas and, in means of dealing with a lot of the issues that are affecting people's mental health. So, as I said, if you want to join, Tiffany, if you want to join with me in the conversation, I'd appreciate it so we can delve more into it. Because whatever knowledge you have in that area, we can discuss that. You understand? Because I have a set of notes and programs and slides that I deal with, and we deal with it in a session. So it's a group. You understand? So when we deal with
want me to add you, Tiffany?
Certain questions.
I'm asking Tiffany if she want me to add her. You want me to add you in the
Coach, I can understand what she said. They think borderline personality disorder means two personalities, but it isn't. Of course, yes, we know that. We know that. We know that it isn't. We know that. And this is why, Tiffany, I was breaking it down. So, we let's look at she don't want to join, that's fine.
She
Substance
said
abuse
sure.
also.
She said sure.
You want to join?
Yeah, she said sure.
Yeah, let her join because I love interaction. This is what I do, so I have to have interaction because I want to talk like I'm talking to when I'm doing the sessions with the group. Because I don't want to be here just going on. I don't want people to get frustrated. But if someone is interacting with me, we can address issues. We can talk about things. You know.
Oh, she's there now.
Yeah.
Good night, Fabian. How are you? Good night, Durbo. Hey, Bum Bum.
Yeah,
Yes,
good night,
good night.
Tiffany. Good stuff. Glad you joined. Bam, I hope somebody else can join. So, Tiffany, you know, while we were talking about borderline personality, and yes, you're right. People might think that it's two things, and it's not, right? So, I love this. Yes,
I speak from experience on this one. So,
right.
Without getting into too much about it.
No, don't. Yeah.
It's if you're speaking about the actual personality disorder itself, it's lots of ebbs and flows and changes in emotions. There's a lot of intensities that comes with it. You can be extremely angry. You can be extremely loving. Some people would say, you know, somebody there with one crazy girl, and you might find out that that girl herself probably had borderline. It's not that she was crazy. She's just intense in expressing her emotions and herself.
That's right.
So perhaps I missed the early part of the conversation. This is prior to you talking about the nitty-gritties of it. I'm not sure what you guys discussed in the early parts of the live.
No, I just came on.
No,
I
just came
on
like
5, 10, 15 minutes ago.
It's just me was
came on to hear the part when you said borderline, and I thought, oh, interesting. But a lot of times when people hear it, they get the sense that, oh, that means that a person has two personalities. They have two personalities. And I was just trying to say no. And that's why, based on the readings I've gone through, they've actually tried to change the name because the name is a problem name. The idea of borderline personality disorder is such a problem name because it's misunderstood. Based on what I've come to understand is that these days it's better known as emotional deregulation. Some people might even call it emotional unstable personality, which is another rough one.
And Tiffany, beautiful. Listen to this though. And what happened is sometimes, Tiffany, we find that explaining certain things with because let me
interject. Let me say something.
So if we're
Derval, one sec. So Tiffany is you guys. So you say borderline personality disorder. That's not the same thing as multiple personality disorder, right?
It is not.
It is
a
different thing. No, it is not.
It is not.
It is not.
Okay.
And this is why Bam Bam, I had made mention of a movie. I made mention of a movie. Okay, Bam Bam. So listen. There was a movie once where someone claimed, well, the psychiatrists, this lady went through a whole bunch of stuff and she was living out different personalities. But borderline personality disorder is a manifestation of things that come about. It creeps up slowly and it affects many aspects of your life. You understand? The person can become manipulative, unstable, or clingy. Simple as being clingy. It's a part of borderline personality disorder. You might not believe if you're walking with your partner or the person holds on to you all the time, or if you're at home and that person is all over you. How many of us have said, why are you clingy, man?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And it's not, because look, it's simple as it may sound, a lot of people are in a situation where they're having early onsets of this situation. You understand? But they fail to recognize that the problem is there. Is there a cure for borderline personality disorder? Absolutely. And people would not believe it.
And that's exactly what I was just going to say.
There's a cure for it, huh?
Healthy relationships. Healthy relationships can actually bring a person into clarity when it comes to that personality disorder. But they have to also acknowledge that it's something that's within them and that they're dealing with. Seeking therapy, such as dialectical behavioral therapy, is great as well. And there are different techniques and skills that one can learn within that environment, such as it has like, some of it has like a spiritual noting to it. Well, it kind of shows you how to almost, embracing things as they are, being one with your experiences. And again, don't quote me because I'm obviously not a psychologist, and somebody who has more expertise on this may say, oh, this kid don't know what she's talking about.
That's fine, but, Tiffany, that's fine. That's fine.
I've dug into this quite a bit, and it's something that I'm very familiar with. So I'm speaking from that point of experience.
Point of view. Yeah, because listen to this, Tiffany. A lot of times people get things misconstrued. Someone who is borderline, the slightest disagreement with even a partner or a friend can cause feelings of anger and hatred and even guilt or shame. A simple thing as a disagreement, bam bam. Sometimes if the partner that you live with at home, you're borderlining, and your partner doesn't even know you're borderlining. And if you go to Mike and you said, Mike, go and wash the dishes, and Mike said, bam bam, trust me, I'm not feeling well, I have a headache, and so and so and so, immediately your anger elevates from a 1 to a 20, not recognizing the fact that chances are Mike is not feeling well, or he'll do it later, because we get this anger.
Good night, Starling.
Just ignite. It just ignite. Boom. You understand? And you sit down there not saying to yourself, you know what? Why did I even deal with it this way? And believe it or not, the approach, the way you handle it could have been way, way different. You understand? But you feeling to yourself at the time, you're feeling, look, I have to take control of this because it's what I say count.
Exactly.
You understand?
And all of a sudden, the person begins to feel as though they're dismissing their authority.
That's right.
They have this black and white thinking. They'll tell you that borderlines are very black and white. You're either good or the person who they're dealing with is either good or they're bad. So right now you're being a terrible person. That's the reason why you're refusing to wash the dishes. And I now have to find some way within myself to balance karma and balance the energies of things to get you to move in the direction that I feel is right in that moment.
Yes. You see, let me tell you, Tiffany, this is just awesome. I hope someone else, I hope Starling could join in on this, because as I said before, knowledge, wisdom and understanding is heightened and elevated when we learn from each other. Because I can't say a lot, because I'm dealing with so many people that are borderlining and are presently borderline, have to deal with it on a daily basis. You understand? You will say something to someone and they push back in a way wherein if you respond in the way that one would say you should respond, then you know you would have a major crisis on your hand. And this is what I'm saying. Tolerance is very important when it comes to dealing with people that are going through a mental crisis overall. You understand? Substance abuse. We deal with this a lot. A lot of people take drinking, and I know Tiffany can attest to this. A lot of people take drinking as their source of comfort. Some rum or whatever it is, because you know what, at this time and at this moment, the position, the place, the situation that I'm in, if I drink, I think it will calm me down. And sometimes if the person that is going through that crisis had someone there to balance them. And I said this before a while back, I said to Bam Bam, is that in our culture, in the Jamaican culture, we've seen on a few occasions teachers have committed suicide, nurses, policemen, the regular civilian populace, the regular civil populace, and people, the first thing is, they know what doing, so why am I to go kill himself? Without understanding the underlying issues that are affecting people on a daily basis. You understand? Take someone who experienced, a young lady might have been going through molestation from an early age, 8, 9, 10, you name it, even adults. Someone who is being verbally and physically abused at home by their spouse / partner / children / neighbor.
No, I was saying
This,
good night to
the simple thing. You might have a simple thing as an ackee tree in your yard.
Need my charger.
And you're saying something, Bamba?
No man, my charger, I'm going to get talk. I'm hearing you.
Yeah. A simple thing as an ackee tree in your yard. So the ackee tree goes on the neighbor's side, and the neighbor is picking the ackee. But you get agitated because in your head, why is the neighbor picking my ackee? Picking ackees off my ackee tree. So the neighbor come to you and say, Bam Bam, the ackee grow on it's your tree, but it grows on my side too. So what does your neighbor do? She sends someone and chop off all the limbs that hang over your side. You understand? Because what? She don't want you to have access to it. Because in your neighbor's eye, it can be a he. So when I say she, please friends, do not think I'm just, it's just a generalized form. So that person is like, why? Me don't want she pick none of me ackee, So she chop off all the lignin on fair side, on the neighbor side, because she want it all on her side. You understand? Because what? Here comes the control. Because if that person cannot have control of the entire situation, they don't feel empowered. And the same thing happens in our daily life. Take your relationship. The wife has an issue with the husband not closing the toilet seat. The husband has a problem with his wife or his spouse complaining about the toilet seat all the time. Believe it or not, as simple as that toilet seat issue is, it's a form of control. Because you're telling yourself that when I tell you that the toilet seat must be closed, I want it closed. Now, when your spouse, because we know the closing the toilet seat is a female thing, the spouse now, he gets irritated. Now he starts to get upset. So he rejects you totally. So he goes out, he comes in, he don't say good night to you, he goes on the couch and he sleeps for a day, 2 days because of that toilet seat issue. So now it spurred, it grows into something even larger. Because the thing is, he sees that you want to take control and he's not going to adhere to your words or to your rules, so now it escalates. Because remember, Bam Bam, a lot of these things that affect us, it does not start big. And that's the thing that people don't understand. They start small. It's like cheating in a relationship.
While I'm not seeing the comments, I don't know if the audience are lost in the topic of it, because I can't really see it. What are your audience saying, Bam Bam, just in general?
Well,
because
I'm not seeing anything yet, just people just coming in and just greeting each other.
Yes,
but you guys, you can interact in the comments, because I'll interject and, we talk about it if you want to hack something or anything. So Derval, as you guys were saying now, maybe, about that controlling thing, and not only that, before that, you were talking about, people going through things. It's like that young lady, Ivani. She saw someone slash her grandmother's throat when she was 5 years old. And she said it affects her right through her adult life, and she went to counseling for it many times, and it seems like it don't help. She even used to slit her wrist at one time when she was younger. That's why I feel so much empathy for that young lady, and kind of not bashing her, even though she has done, some bad things. But don't we all do bad things at time in our past, So we can't even judge. You understand? I feel so much empathy for her, so much remorse for her, because, she said, from that happened to her, she like be a rebellious child, And then one day somebody went and talked about it to her, like, cursing her and use her grandmother name. She said she was so pissed. It triggered off something in her so much. And she went after that girl 100%. That's when she went on that girl's Facebook page and tried to, take down her page. She said she didn't know what she was doing, but it worked. So she just, anybody on her have anything, she just do that to them. And she know that would hurt them till she just start take down them page and just sell it. You understand? It make her rebellious. So how would you, perceive her? What would you use to say, she's suffering from this, that? What would you say?
Straight borderline.
Yeah,
Straight
straight
borderline. Because
I would be cautious in saying that, unless you're not referring to borderline as the personality disorder, but just a bordering of emotions.
Well, that's true too. Yes, because we know about the emotional effects of it. So yeah, which is true. Let me see. Emotions are extremely intense, which lead to depression, anxiety. Well, these are class notes on you when I read between when I do my thing, because I'm looking from a lot of my notes. Emotions are extremely intense, which lead to depression, anxiety, or anger that may persist for days or weeks, even months, even years. So, Tiffany, the behavior that she's portraying, as she said, as Bam Bam said, okay, so that effect, that situation that affected her, she was 5 years old, right? So it's surmounted over time, right? Am I right? Stay with me here, right? So
because she's still a young girl, she's just 24 now. She's 6 now.
Well, we can't forget about the fact of the teaching surrounding how someone might come into borderline. They say it's from unsecured early relationships. So
that's one of them though.
All right. 1 sec. So Starling is saying.
Go ahead.
Starling is saying, I disagree with both of you. I think it's post-traumatic stress disorder.
Post-traumatic stress disorder. Oh, she's saying it's postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Okay.
Post-traumatic.
Starling, join us now.
Stress disorder.
I remember Starling, post-traumatic stress disorder, Starling, is different from borderline personality
disorder. And that's why I don't know if it's borderline, because the scenario with her grandmother could cause post-traumatic stress disorder. In order for us to know if it's borderline, we'd have to go way back to her early settings.
Which she said was 5 years that she's been having a few. Starling, please join Starling if you can, because your input is.
I feel like we have to go back to lips on boobs.
The onset, okay.
Child's boobs on child's lips on mom's boob. How was that connection? But again, I just want to put out a disclaimer that I personally have not the intention to diagnose anyone. I just want to share my ideas surrounding the scenario, because I know how social media is, and I am not in the mood to argue.
Yeah. Starling is there with you guys. Starling is there.
Starling is here. Starling.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm here. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey. Hey, what's going on?
Yes.
Good night.
Yes, Starling. Well, we know, Starling, that PTSD it's broad based, it's wide, but I am excited because seeing that you brought up PTSD. And you said so again, the views expressed by me, Starling, Tiffany, and Bam Bam are just our views. It's not a reflection of the entire audience, the ones that are here with us.
Yes,
so Starling,
people. So these guys are not
okay.
What you call them?
I just joined
one sec,
I really didn't hear the previous, but just to chime in on the little bit that I heard. Apparently this young lady had went through something, extraordinary. It was not pleasant at all. So that's why I said post-traumatic disorder. Also, I think based on the fact that she did go through all of that, it's NOS. So it's not meeting the total criteria of post-traumatic, right? So NOS, as you know, means not right. So it doesn't meet the textbook definition of post-traumatic, right? But it's NOS, that means you have traits of it, but it's not otherwise specified, right? I think with her, that would be the primary diagnosis. And again, the views expressed here, we don't know her. She haven't sat with me, you, or anybody, so we are just kind of brainstorming what we think and our feelings, and from the little information that we know. So basically, go ahead.
No, I'm throwing something at you and Tiffany, because I'm reading. Because me personally, what I do is, as I tell you, you guys know. But listen, I'm addressing you and Tiffany, and I want you and Tiffany to respond to this with Debbie. So I'm going to read what she says. She said, in regards to mental illness, I heard of a cousin who sometimes doesn't shower for more than a month. What would you classify her as? Tiffany, and each of you can go, because this is what I need. I need interaction. I need material. So between the two of you, in your own words, whether it's be a minute, 2, 3, 4, 5, answer Debbie's question for me.
Well, I will go first. This is Tiffany speaking. I don't know what I would classify it as, but I know that there are many different mental illnesses that would cause someone to not take a shower. Be it someone is depressed, where they maybe have, they're experiencing major depression, or maybe it's a depression episode that they're having as a result of a life traumatic experience, a recent one, whether it be a breaking up of a marriage, a death in the family, or it could be something more serious like schizophrenia. It depends on what they're I don't know a whole lot about schizophrenia.
You left one out.
No, but what I'm saying,
dementia.
I don't have...
You left out dementia. It can be dementia
because
too.
I don't have the experience. I don't have the experience with dementia, and I don't know how dementia shows up. I'm just speaking based on my personal experience.
Because I worked on a lockdown unit that was at one point for 2 years. That was basically dementia and Alzheimer. Yes, so continue.
But as a general citizen who has some level of insight and information when it comes to mental illness, whether it be in my own family or just in connection with other people, no one person can simply just diagnose a person by them not showering for a whole month.
Yes.
Because there could be any different condition that would cause them to do that.
And maybe the person just don't like, maybe the person only, and the thing is too, maybe the person have access to only cold water, and the person is just afraid of cold water, or the person have access, I'm not being facetious or naive, I'm just saying, some people rather just tidy, where they call it tidy, instead of having a shower, because the water where they're located might be too cold, and them just rather tidy up, like when they just get a peel and stuff like that, so them no want to shower.
Maybe, as I said before, Derval,
who is a mechanic.
Maybe what you guys were talking before.
It smell like grease all the time, gasoline or engine oil, and his skin was always black. His fingers and stuff like that. And I said, don't you shower? Don't you have a shower? And it's like that every time you see me, he looks the same way. So, as I said, and Tiffany, I don't know if you finish addressing it, but
I guess that the last part of it, I could say that they could be on the depressive end of bipolar disorder as well. So, I'm sure there's many other mental health conditions out there that I haven't brought up, but I know that bipolar does come with depressive episodes. You have depression in and of itself, which seems to be a part of a lot of other scenarios. Even personality disorder with borderline personality disorder has aspects of depression in it. So it could be a lot of different reasons why, or any reason why. So I don't know that I have the absolute response to that, and it might not be fair for us to try to give an absolute response to it unless.
And this is what this is how my program. Yeah, you're right, Tiffany. Tiffany, you're absolutely right, and this is how the program that I do, what I do with the group sessions, is based on. So here's how it works. I get a whole analog to work with, and you deal with specific areas as it relates to this situation, this situation, this situation, and what you expect 100%, hoping it reaches 100%, is the feedback in their way as being positive coming to you. Because whatever they say, and you ladies know this, because I know you ladies know this, whatever someone who's going through those situations say to you, you have to work with them with what they're saying, because they're looking the source, the comfort, they're looking the response.
Read Debbie's comment.
So even if they said the cow jumped over the moon and the dish run away with the spoon, your conversation can be, how many cows jump over the moon? And if a dish run away with the spoon, were their feet, the plate have feet on it, or the fork have feet on it, little things like that. You understand?
So
you're what you said about bipolar, yes, depression is one of the contributing factor. You're on point. Anxiety too, which is vital important in that situation, because a lot of people suffer from anxiety. A lot of people, you're sitting an exam, you have an exam next week or in the next few days, and you're so you can't focus. Yes, I'm gonna sit this exam, and oh my God, I don't know if I'll be able to pass. Oh jeez, and you go into the exam and you have a total, you're clueless, because anxiety have taken over. So when everyone else is halfway or 3/4 way through the exam, or if you're whatever it is, you haven't even answered the first question. And we see that all the time. Point in case, I know of a situation when I was in college in a program, one of our students in one of my classes, she committed suicide. And she had reached out to her friends seeking help, and she did not get the help she was seeking.
Because a lot of friends are not necessarily genuinely there. I think the world lacks a lot of compassion when it comes to responding to these situations. It's just unfortunate. But Bum Bum, it sounds like you were trying to say something.
Yes, I was trying to say something, but
Starlin has not been able to respond yet. I apologize for cutting you, Derval.
Yeah.
No man, no, I need this.
You're not hearing me, Derby. I was saying, to read Debbie's comment, Debbie was saying she understands that she was diagnosed as being schizophrenic, but she refused to take any form of medication. And she goes on to say she also locks herself away in her room, only leaves whenever she feels. She only leaves whenever she's
leaving the house. Whenever she's leaving the house. Yeah. I seen it.
So maybe, as she said, she's diagnosed as schizophrenic, so I guess that's why she don't bathe.
That can be. I'm gonna let Starling join in, chip in too. But even dementia. People suffering from dementia, because we all know dementia is 3 stages of it. And the onset of it, believe it or not, a lot of times people fail to even recognize the early onset. I remember I was dealing with someone once, and when we had a meeting with the family, because I looked at her care plan, and when I looked at her care plan, I saw the underlying problems, right? And the daughter was saying at the time that one of the big thing was that her mom would drive past her own house 4 to 5, even up to 6 times, not recognizing her house. You understand? So a lot of people sometimes that have dementia, they are in that same situation where they don't want to even shower either. And there's nothing you can do. You can't force them to. You would like to, but then you also have to respect them as in their rights. So when it comes to schizophrenia and delving in deep into that, again, as Tiffany had said earlier, I'm not an expert into analyzing and diagnosing and going in depth and deep, because I'm not qualified as a psychiatrist or a psychologist. But I mean, so many things can lead to one behaving in so many different ways. And also, if she refuses the medication, no one can force her to take the medication. So I'm gonna let Tiffany finish, or you keep on.
I'm through now. I'll wait for Starlin.
Starling, come in, Starling, come in, because I want.
Okay.
I need this. Yeah.
Okay, so when Debbie first asked the question, again, that's one symptom. Okay, it's just like if you go to the doctor and you say, "Hey, doc, I have a temperature." A temperature could mean a whole array of things, right? So not showering, it's just one symptom, and it's very broad because that one symptom, Deb, covers a multitude of things, okay? It could be anywhere from the fear of water to hormonal changes. It could be schizophrenia, as we said here. Again, it's very broad, and I agree with what Tiffany and Jerval has saying. It's very broad. It could be anything, dementia, onset, Alzheimer's. It could be a whole bunch of things. But
but she said she was diagnosed for schizophrenia.
It was diagnosed that she has schizophrenia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was diagnosed that it's schizophrenia. And she is refusing medication. And that is okay because a lot of people do. Even on a regular basis, people refuse medications. The thing with people with schizophrenia is that when they're going through an episode, it's very, very important to understand how they feel in that moment. Yeah. I'm not saying to validate if they say something like, for lack of better words, I use something very, very stereotypical. Jesus came out of the sky and tell me go jump off of a cliff. You're not validating what they're saying, but you're validating the feeling. So a lot of diagnosis, and like Durable said, if somebody say you jump over the moon, you're gonna find out, does the moon have legs? Did the plate have a leg? What you're doing, you're not validating what they're saying, you're validating the feeling, and you're trying to obtain information to further narrow the feel of what's going on with them. Okay? So mental illness is not just about we dismissing, this person, they don't know what they're talking about, or this is cuckoo or something. No, it's about validating the feeling and work, because I believe that what they feel and think is real. There's nothing wrong with that.
Exactly.
The line is drawn when I don't share your thoughts on what you feel, but I validate what you feel. Because I know you are telling me this because you think it's real. So if someone walks in and someone says, Star, you know what? I'm not, because I had a perfect example of mental health. So I had a gentleman that walked into the office and he said to me, he doesn't identify as a male. He identifies as a dog.
Okay.
So I sat and I said, okay. He came in there, no lie, a collar, everything. I'm sitting there in the center. I said, okay. So what should I address you as? Because, dogs have names. So,
yes.
And he said, no, I'm just a dog. He didn't have a name. He seemed, all over the place a little bit. So he is talking to me, and I now have to address this man as Mr. Dog because he didn't give himself a name. And I asked him, is it okay if I call you this? He said, yes, it is. I said, okay, with your consent, this is what I'm going to call you. So he is explaining to me his issues and that he's on medication and he's been out of his medications for a while and so on and so forth. So here we are in the middle. I realize at this point, I am somewhere in the middle of a psych break. We call that a psych break when they're not on medication and they're about to have an episode or a meltdown. So we call that a psych break, right? So to get them back on the medication where they're stable. So I realized, hey, I'm looking at a psych break here, and if this gentleman feels he's a dog, is he going to be an aggressive dog? You understand what I'm saying? So now I have to find out, okay, so you're now identifying as a dog, did you go for a walk? I am letting him know that, hey, I acknowledge the fact that you feel that you are a dog without putting my own interpretation into it. So it's little things like that that kind of moves along the process when you're assessing someone on a mental scale. Yeah, so a lot goes into it, but again, I never validate the situation. I validate the feeling because I know when they're sitting and they're talking, I know that they think what they're saying to me is real and it has real consequence. So I validate the feeling, but not the situation.
Not the situation. I'm gonna and look what Debbie said. I'm giving you a strength here, Starling, because you had mentioned about some water. Listen to this. So Debbie said she lives with her sister and she's driving her crazy because she would also leave the pipe on running the water for hours. Then she said it's a sad situation. I told her to take her the Bellevue Hospital. But you see that water, remember you had mentioned, Starling, about the water. You understand? So even the water, for some people, and I don't know if the ladies will agree to this, but even the water itself can be a trigger effect. It can be a trigger for her in one way or another. You understand? Because it's so many times, even when I'm with the groups that I'm with, some of the things that the people bring forward, some of the questions that I would ask them and things that they say, I'm looking, checking my right, checking my left, looking straight ahead to see, because we sit in a circle. We always sit in a circle so that we can see each other, what the expressions, body language, etc., etc. And sometimes you say something and you're looking for that body language and that person will chip in something or say something. And strange enough, no one is laughing. So you're right, Starling. Everyone is validating their feelings. They're saying, like, listen, I said this and this is the way it is, and you aren't going to change that because this is what it is. So this is what I'm saying. And we were talking earlier about even our culture, Jamaican culture. I realize and I accept and I acknowledge the fact that a lot of people that are going through crisis, a lot of people that are going through deep underlying issues, people marginalize them. People push them aside. People don't care about them. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what, Durable? I saw something online today that triggered me very much so, because I have great sensitivity for persons that are living with any kind of a mental illness.
Wow.
And without calling any name, and before I move forward, I will also say to Dania that it is very possible for anyone that is dealing with a friend or a family member that has any major kind of mental illness will have some level of difficulty, and they definitely will need some sort of a support for themselves, whether it's
support systems,
more than likely some sort of a counseling, because it is a full-time job depending on the type of mental health challenges that this individual is dealing with. I'm referring to whomever they're taking care of. But I was watching something today online, and I'm telling you, I was so triggered. And I thought to myself that I don't have the full information, but there was a young lady, and again, I'm just expressing myself. If anyone should come across this, I please ask of you not to come at me or come after me, although I will not mention any names. I don't even remember the young lady's name. But
Tiffany's talking, right? It's Tiffany talking, right?
Yeah, that is correct, yes. So I came across something today where I guess a young lady had gone through a divorce. I don't know how old this video is. And her partner was acting in a kind of way that was not very pleasing to her. This is a person she had recently left. I guess the partner must have sent her a message saying how she's going to take her life and how she had taken this many bottles of pills. And I guess what she said she did, this is the person who the partner sent the message to, the one who was now making the video. She said she sent a message to the ex-partner's parents and said, this is what your daughter just sent me. They're a same-sex couple. And the parent must have responded to her and said, so don't you care about her? And I don't know what her response was. But along the video, what she said was, I'm not going to fall for that. And I understand that some people have to draw a line somewhere. But in the end, she ended up calling the police. Now, that person might have been a borderline person. I don't know for sure, because there are other scenarios that could present itself in that type of way that that person was presenting themselves, wanting to take their life and stuff. But can you imagine you're crying out for somebody saying, you're gonna take your life? And yes, somebody might consider that as manipulation, but dare I tell you, you never take that cry for joke.
True.
Never take that cry for joke. And somebody would say,
I applaud you.
Yeah, true.
somebody
I applaud
would
you for
say,
saying
yes,
that.
call the police, yes. But you know what? What that person wants in that moment is not the police. I mean, no, you can't rescue everybody. And I'm not telling you to rescue everyone, but in that moment, it's as though you have failed that person. And I know not everybody is going to agree, because the hard and strong people will say, me I'm a psychiatrist, me can't take care of nobody, but you were once that person's partner.
And can I interject for a minute here, Tiffany?
Sure.
The worst person you could ever call when someone is having a mental breakdown or mental stress related issue is the police. Don't call the police. We have seen numerous that, even the one in the airport, even the one that they had from Jamaica that you saw in the airport, with a constable putting her down. You see, the thing is, and I'm not being naive or ignorant here, in the States also, I seen so many of them, because what happened, we have to watch the video, prepping me for certain things. We have seen a few videos from the United States, and now they're now even trying to train police officers when it comes to people with mental related issues.
They lack sensitivity, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
They lack sensitivity.
I'm gonna shake your hand through the phone. I'm gonna shake your hand through the phone. This is a major problem. Let me tell you, I'm talking to you guys, and if you would not believe, I have cold bumps on my hand. I swear to you. Cold bumps.
Because you're passionate about the topic you're about.
Yes,
but I literally felt as though I dismissed the lady today, and I'm not supposed to be going around dismissing people. If that's even a word, is it dismiss or despise? But I was so uncomfortable. I thought, how insensitive can you be?
Yes.
Now, persons are going to also say, Tiffany, you don't know the backstory. This is a person you once loved. This is a person you once loved.
I tell you something.
The thing is, I'm sorry.
Let me hear what you're saying, Daryl.
No, you
Sorry, let me hear what you're saying, Starlin. I apologize.
Yes,
let me hear what you're
That's all right, guys. That's all right.
The
issue with that is, I did IDD, which is intellectual disabilities, right?
Yeah, yes.
And I did IDD for quite a while, and I've seen a whole bunch of situations, okay? I've seen where we had to call police officers who handcuffed someone with Down syndrome, could hardly walk, cuff them behind their back, cuff them, put them on the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, and I felt bad because I had to make that call. Now, compassion is something that is either you have it or you don't have it. And unfortunately, a lot of the jobs that require
compassion,
a firm hand, you become desensitized. So you may start out, being a good nurse, and in about 10, 15 years, somebody's looking at you and crying in pain, and you're looking at them like, hold on, I gotta go do this, and you can hold on 15 more minutes while I go do this. Certain jobs, Tiffany, it desensitizes you, and that is the truth about it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Sometimes people don't wanna accept it, but it does happen. And even though these are officers and the compassion level should be there, because of the nature of the job, remember, you're seeing somebody get shot, someone get stabbed, and, you're seeing a whole array of things. So their compassion level is at an all-time low, unfortunately. When it comes to someone reaching out, I never take for granted when someone reaches out, right? Because I look at it the same way when I teach a class and I say, hey, an emergency, if someone looks at me and say, hey, I'm having a heart attack. No, my chest hurt. You could be lying from the pit of hell. Guess what? I'm going to take action. You understand? Because I cannot say you're not having a heart attack. So if someone is reaching out and they're saying something that's not their borderline, it's not in their personality, it's not in their character, grant you, like you said, Tiffany, someone can say, oh, it's manipulation. Yes, but you cannot make that judgment call in that situation. So the best thing to do, you do what you have to do. You step on that. You take action. Because when you take action, it takes the blame and the pressure off you. And that's what most people, they just don't understand. Mental health is the same thing. If someone comes in and someone is in crisis, you can't take it on alone. Sure. I cannot make a decision all by myself. No, I cannot. I am going to get my social supervisor involved. I'm going to get the care team, the interdisciplinary team, whatever team, I'm going to get them in here.
And Tiffany,
okay,
darling, case on point. There are many cases that I have not dealt with, but I've interacted with group members with. Okay, and one I'll share with you. So I recently saw one that happened a while back in the state, and this lady was like 80-something years old. It caused a major lawsuit. She had dementia. Walked into a store, and I wanted to follow me. I know you guys will follow me on this. Went into a store, and she took something. I don't remember what it was, a candy or something, and she walked out. The store called the police. This old lady, she was walking along the street, and I stand corrected, Starling. There's no way in the world no one could tell me that these officers did not see signs, because they got the call and someone had expressed certain things to them. And long story short, he grabbed onto her, and the lady was saying, leave me alone, I don't want to bother, you're bothering me, leave me alone. Ladies, they threw that 80-something old lady to the ground, handcuffed her, and you could hear the pop in her arm, a huge pop. Her shoulder was dislocated. Hear the insensitivity to it. She was crying out for pain, and they showed, I get cold bumps again. They showed absolutely no remorse. And to add to that, she goes into the station, and you know what they're doing? Making a joke, laughing, gallivanting, as if they were out on a joyride. And I just could not, it cost a huge, they lost their jobs, and it cost a huge lawsuit. And I'm saying, Starling, you've been through more than, because healthcare, yes, is my thing. And I mean, I've worked on lockdown units and regular care, you understand, but you're more in depth into certain aspects of the whole, just listening to you, right? And I got so angry when I see how they treated that old lady. Another situation again, a young man was at home having a mental crisis. The parent called the cops. The cop is giving instruction to a young man, and he's confused. One is saying lay down, one is saying hold up your hand, one is saying this, one is saying that, and the mother is saying he has mental issues. You know what they did, ladies? What do you think they did? I'd give you a chance to tell me what you think they did to that young man.
Sure,
they shot him.
I don't know.
Me never did want to say that.
Crazy.
Me never did want to think that.
Huh?
I didn't want to think that they did that.
Yeah, they shot him, and it's there. They showed it on video, and this is why, I mean, when Stalin was talking about team members, because I had a situation once with a gentleman that, unfortunately, dementia is hereditary within his family. His dad had dementia in his 40s. This gentleman, same thing. He was on the unit. He had dementia in his 40s. And I remember he one day was being a little bit belligerent. But sometimes he would walk up to you with a clenched fist and he'd give you a slight tap. Not a hit, just a slight tap. Or he'd stand staring at you with open eyes, like rigid. He's just staring at you, and he won't move. Unfortunately, that day, the nurse that was giving care got a little bit scared, or we take term, it just gets scared. reported to the DOC. The DOC called the police. And when the cops came in, one of the female constables, she was so remorseful. She said to me, Mr. Parchment, will he hurt me? And I said, no. I said, that's not the way he is now. And I walked up to him. I gave him a hug, and I took him across the open area and sat him down. And I remember one of the officers, because there was 3 officers that came to the scene at the time, one of them said, was it that easy just to deal with him like that? And I said, yes. So, I'm not, I just this thing within me, when it comes to people having crisis or in situations where you would seek the help of a health professional compared to people that are being trained, that's just the way I feel. And I have absolutely nothing against police, or policing for that matter. But I just think, and unfortunately, now they're doing special training now for police officers, both in Canada, the US, I don't know if they start that in Jamaica, as in helping people as it relates to mental health, or what you call mental crisis, or Starling, the various names in your line that you would term it as. You understand? Because to me personally, I would listen to someone going through a crisis or in a situation for hours and hours and hours, because I'm trying to give them comfort. I mean, there are individuals here that I know. For example, a good friend of mine, you say you were in a community and you're dealing with people that go through the mental situation, right? The mental crisis there. You might have to do special things for them, help them in special ways, their needs and stuff like that. Oftentimes you find that you get so attached to them, and you're comforting to them. It's like in a nursing home, or if they won't take their medication, they'll see you as, if you're a male, and he's a male, they'll see you as his son, or the female might also see you as her son. So if the nurse that's giving her the medication, she won't take it from the nurse might say, Starling or Debbie, knowing that person is close to you, see if they'll take the medication. And I can attest to the fact that it has happened to me personally, and I get 100% result. You understand? So Starling, I stand corrected in this. I think some professions or some line of work is just not for the right person or for that person. I think that if you're not passionate about something, you should not go forward with it. Mm-hmm. And because we know a lot of times that some people are just in it for the...
There has to be a balance. That's what the issue is.
Yeah,
you
balance, right?
Through your own personal growth and evolution, you have to find a balance. I work for 311 Toronto, and we get a lot of calls. And sometimes we get calls from individuals who will be saying outlandish stuff. And I have trained myself to not be so quick to dismiss. I will sit there and I listen and I kind of lean into what they're saying for a moment until I'm confident that maybe they're really just speaking gibberish. And I always ask, because we're trained to, are you a harm to yourself at this moment?
But you understand CAMH process then, right? CAMH.
Not necessarily, because we don't take CAMH calls, but we just deal with the general public and the City of Toronto residents.
Yes, because it's CAMH that I deal CAMH. I'm doing my stuff with CAMH. Yeah.
Okay. So when I
the issue here. I'm sorry, Tiffany. Go ahead, my darling.
So when I get these calls, because of my own sensitivity and because I would want persons to listen to me as well, even if I might sound a little off, I give some time to make sure that this isn't some kind of a situation that I need to be keenly attentive to. Okay. And the moment I realize that it's not, when I ask the fair questions and I do my own little check, I'm confident enough to say, sir, I will have to release this call. And I release it. I just don't become automatically dismissive. And that's not just what my job has trained me. My own life experience has taught me to be this way.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Compassion is key. Compassion is definitely key. Yes. And one of the things that we also have to understand is, this is my views now. This is all Starling's views.
So you want to say, so the views expressed by Starling, Tiffany Derval, and the host, body's opinion. Let's make that clear. Because we're not psychologists or psychiatrists, but we all have our specialty areas, right? Because listen, I'm learning, Starling and Tiffany. I so love this. You would know how much I love this conversation. So I only now and again say something, but Starling talk again because I love it. Honestly, I do. I love it.
The issue here,
we're gonna have a part 2.
Believe it or not, it's culture. Compassion and culture. Okay, so if we have a culture where we're caring for the elderly and we're listening to each other and we are supporting each other, there is less incidents. Okay, there'll be less psych breaks, there'll be less medication needed, because a lot of the times when people go through something and they don't have the right person to talk to, or the general tone of the culture is something happened to you, they tell you, don't cry. You know, like when we see that a lot. A parent will spank a child, and the child cries, and you tell them, don't cry. What are you crying for?
So true, Starling.
You hurt this child, and that's why this child is crying. And when you tell that child, don't cry, what message are you sending to this child?
Thank you.
So these are things that we need to sit and analyze and say, hey, what really is going on? And if we have a culture that is nurturing and caring, then we all can say, oh, wait a minute, Tiffany don't look that hot today. Hey, Tiffany, what's going on? Oh, you look good today. What happened? And Tiffany would feel free in saying, hey, you know what happened? I'm having the day from hell. And most times people may do it, but it's either out of just courtesy, because I've done it many times. I've done it a lot of times where someone asked me, hi, how was your day? And I said, I'm having a rough day. And they said, okay, have a nice day. Nobody stops to listen.
They walk with that looking at the dogs.
Yeah, they're going about the business. How you doing? I'm not good.
That's
Okay,
even a word of encouragement.
You never hear me, just I'm having a bad day. You never hear me?
Yeah, no
What do
word
you
of
say, Mama?
So
encouragement.
those are the things.
I thought I heard Bam in the background.
No, I was just saying no word of encouragement. No word of encouragement.
Nothing at all. Then just gone.
They're
and
just
gone.
gone.
Yes, but more than that, more than the word of encouragement, we need to listen. We need to listen and we need to pay attention.
Oh my God.
Because it helps. You have to listen, you have to pay attention, because that's a part of sensory and it does help in identifying when something is off. Everyone has a pattern. Okay? Whether it's when you come home, you kick off your shoes first, or you come in and you go into the kitchen, bam, we know your pattern. You get on here and there's something down your throat every night. So anytime we see you don't have something down your throat, every man from the chat starts fret. With the bam, you sick? Bam, you alright? We all have a pattern.
Drink juice tonight.
And when we see you break away from that pattern, you have to know that, hey, something is wrong. So it kind of goes back to, again, if we have a culture where we are concerned and the compassion is there, then it makes it easier to really identify a psych break. It makes it easier to say, hey, wait a minute, this person, has just been triggered. There's an antecedent. This is what they don't like. This is what they like. All kinds of things going on. And all of that is done through what? Observance, right? We're looking, we're listening, we're putting stuff together. So we may not be the best at what we do, but there's nothing wrong in just doing it. And we do it naturally. As women, as people, we do it. Our children come in. Oh, you look so hard at school today. Oh, you look so, what happened? Eat your food. Come in happy. What happened? We do it all the time. All we have to do is just apply it to adults and we'll be fine.
Wow. Wow. You know, I remember Tiffany and Starling and Bam Bam and friends years ago when I was a little kid in Jamaica growing up. And, you know, old people, you know, people used to say things. People used to say, Lord, them do so much wickedness. I confess them, I confess. And they cannot have to put them under, put goat skin under them bed when they go lay it down to stop them from confess. And
For
then,
smear that one.
yeah, you heard of that, Bamba, right? You ever heard of that before?
No, sir, good skin I for smear that.
Yeah,
I country thought them the devil.
Oh, yes, man, we used to hear it real
In
deep.
that
Remember
Bantona.
Mama town girl, you know.
Yeah, but me a town girl too. Me a girl. Me a town guy too. But when me a say, used to hear people say, put them under, put goat skin under them bed to stop them from confess. So fast track now here in North America. When I look at the effects of dementia and Alzheimer, oh my God, I'm saying to myself, why? Because, you know, as again, the views expressed by Derval, Tiffany, Starling, and Bam Bam is not a reflection of everyone else's opinion. But what I'm saying, I find our culture, and Starling's mentioned this, our culture is so stagnated with people that
Like up the light, Botana. You don't like up the light
people
yet.
with so much negative energy. If you're going through a crisis, I think someone would say a midlife crisis or whatever it is, no one takes a minute, no one stops, no one listens, no one wants to hear. I had a class called conflict management, and there was a girl in the class that was going through a rough time. And I remember one time we were doing a paper. I think I have said it before, and I talk about it. And she came to me, and we were in the library, and she said, Derval, can you help me with this paper? Because I'm struggling with it. And I said, sure. So I was showing her certain things and pointing out to her, and we're talking about stressors. I'm sure you ladies know what stressors are and stuff like that. And we were carrying on. Yes. And she said to me, can I talk to you for a minute? And I said, sure. So I left the library, and I went out on the playing field. And ladies, I'm telling you, 2.5 hours later, before I left her, she was being molested from she was 9 years old by a family member, female wow. Family member. And she reached out to other family members, and they told her she was making up story because female no molest picnic.
That's disgusting.
That's wow. Disgusting. No one would listen to her.
But that's how they are, Derval, on all levels. They never listen about anything.
About anything. Thank you. And I find it so distasteful that even to this day in our Jamaican culture, unfortunately I have to say it, and it's true, it doesn't matter if you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're a policeman, you're a industrialist, you're a member of parliament, you're a regular civilian, it don't matter who you are. We find that so many times people don't spend the time to listen to even what's going on with someone, because we're living in this perfect world. So in their head, yes.
We spend a lot of time. We spend a lot of time creating policies and procedures.
Oh my God.
And we spend a lot of time saying, if you're ever in need, don't be afraid to reach out. But the moment you reach out, it's a different pot of kettle or whatever they call it.
Yeah, same way, Tiffany. Different pot of kettle.
It's just not. I don't get it. So
Tiffany, absolutely.
It's a
same stuff. Different pot of kettle.
So life is really an interesting space. I was telling my hubby the other day. I say, you know what? Mm-hmm. Me is the type of girl in here can wake me up out of my sleep. Me I one dependable person. Because I know what it feels like to need someone.
Yes.
So I make myself available, but unfortunately, a lot of people do not make themselves available.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks.
That is true.
And this is why I tell people all the while. I said in my quotes, some of my quotes, your struggle do not define you. You need an act of love. You're worthy of happiness and peace of mind. And you see, when someone reach out to you, let me tell you, I've been through a lot in my personal life. And this is why I'm so passionate when it comes to relating to people. I've had experiences that cause me to think, I think so loud, it's like my eardrums want to burst. And which one of us can say we don't think aloud at times and think to ourselves? We think aloud because we sometimes find ourselves in situations that we said to ourselves, why me? And you know what? Let me tell you, and I'm not ashamed to say this. You know, I have people that I was close with, and when I was going through my situation with my divorce, etc., etc., I had people who were saying to me, "Oh, you're making wife turn him in an idiot."
Right?
And this and this. And
right?
I'm like, really? And these
it
are
just
people...
means you need to shed them. It means that you're stepping into a next level of connection and friendships. They were never supposed to come with you.
Never.
I know exactly what you speak about with that, Durban.
Yes, because these people, they only portray themselves to be your friend, to be sensitive and to be up there with you and to fix things and help you sort things out. And they say, oh, so read between the lines, you give up an apple or you give up a pear or you give up a mango so that you know because you know that the tree will grow more. And their first word is, Lord, my idiot, why give up the apple? But they don't see the fact that you have the tree. You have the tree. So even though you give up that mango, whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 6 mangoes, you still have the tree. So you're telling yourself, you know what, the tree is going to grow more mangoes. Because every one of us, as tough as we are, we've been through at least one situation in our life. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're going through it right now. We may be having sleepless night. You're with a man who you can't trust him. Or you're with a woman that you can't trust. Or you have a female friend that you share the secret with her thinking that she's your friend and your business is all over the place. You'd call up your friend and you say, listen, beg you some salt no, or beg you some sugar no, and the entire village knows about it. You call them up and you say, I have nothing to eat. And the entire world knows about it. Mm-hmm. And when it comes back to you, you say to yourself, oh my God, why did I even put it forward? Why did I tell Bam Bam that I was hungry? People are not passionate no more. People don't care no more. People don't show love no more. So they just get this cold, heartless way about them. So what? Where am I say? Him can't go look help. Where ma call me a complaint to me for? Where she call me a complaint to me for? Nothing no do.
Wrong kind of people.
Wrong kind of people. And a lot of people out there are guilty of this. A lot of people. You understand? But they only act like they're not. You understand? They show that pretty smile and that beautiful face. And I'll tell you, during COVID, I was downtown Toronto. And it was around 3, 4 p.m. And down by Nathan Phillips Square, a lot of people was hanging out. And I see 4 guys sitting together. They have the mental health issues, right? And one of them was picking on his nails, or just biting on his nails. So I walked up to him and I said, are you okay? And he said, man, I haven't eaten all day and I'm starving. I'm going to eat my fingers. No joking, the ladies, may I tell you now. And I'm like, no, you don't have to eat your fingers. I'll get you some. When I said that to him, the other 3 guys got up and started following because he was following me. And they had food cart on Queen Street. We're in the part to Nathan Phillips Square because Bay come down Nathan Phillips Square and Queen Street. And let me tell you something. I bought each of them a hot dog, one of the bigger hot dogs, and I bought them fries and a pop. And let me tell you something. Just watching them eat gave me relief, gave me sense and sensibility. It made me feel good about yourself. There's hope for humanity because of the human in us. Mm-hmm.
Consider yourself one of the special ones, Durbo, because I don't know that this is out there too much these days.
Until the WhatsApp call too long, them cut it off, you have to start over.
She you do.
Maybe if somebody I try calling or what.
Oh, okay.
Well, Bamba,
Yeah, so
in all fairness, you are the author of the show, so you let us know if the path we're on is that
if someone is coming in, yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
Just
right, because
we're just sticking to the topic, mental health and the effects that it have on society. Yeah, we're just sticking to the topic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as
Because
I was
guys,
saying,
I'm coming off 11 o'clock. Okay.
It's 10 what 10:42 now.
Right. Yeah. So if you want to touch another aspect of it,
yeah.
Because this is a wide.
You want to do what?
No, I said if you want to touch another aspect of it, because we can do a part. We are gonna do a part two, because this is a very wide, aspect of.
Yes, of course. And as the ladies, as Tiffany and Starling talk about schizophrenia and other areas that are attached to mental health and the whole aspect of it, it is just so refreshing and nice to that. It just like, the reason why I love this, because on a daily basis, I see so many. I mean, Tiffany, you deal with the 311, and I'm telling you, I see so many things within the whole aspect of the whole mental health thing, and you when you look at it overall, you just know that there's hope for humanity. You understand? You only wish that in some of our society, people would have a bit more understanding. I remember even the situation in the airport where that Caucasian girl had that mental breakdown, and even the police officer, he kind of gave her a kind of a move. He made a move on her, as in trying to restrain her, and a lot of people were very upset about the method of restraint. You understand? And at the same time, there were some people saying, "Don't touch her, don't touch her." But for me personally, I one would say, well, how would you deal with it? But you can't use fire to fight fire. You understand? We understand she was having a mental crisis, but you can't use force like that, to take somebody down, because you're gonna have punkus to punkus, And this is why I'm saying that we find now that a lot of changes are taking place all over when it comes to people that have mental health related condition. But the hypocrisy of society is to put people down all the time. You understand? It could be your husband. It could be your spouse. It could be your daughter. It could be your son. Your child come home to you and said, "Mom, I'm not feeling well. I'm stressed. I have an exam coming." Dad, no, do you? No, take up your book and study, man. Because for old inherit bad behavior. Wherein if you had just come down and said, "Okay, my dear, you're talking to your child now. What is the problem? What is that exam that you have coming up? What is it? Is it math? Is it biology? Is it chemistry? What is the struggles you have with it?" You understand? Some of us are so set in that old behavior. No, dear man, go and go study. If you don't have too much pound on your head, and if you don't come off of this and come off of that, the simple phone that you have is a comfort to you, because social media is so wide now. There are many things there for you to learn. You understand? Even small little fix-its. It helps you in many ways. It's like food. It's like growth protein for the brain. It's like manure to the plant. Some people have no compassion.
So
they're so
Derval.
desensitized.
Derval.
And
what about, I was talking about that earlier on, with persons having the kid, their kid, a family member in the house, having their kid that have a mental problem, and sometimes I wonder, is it pride? They don't want to accept it, because they keep on saying nothing wrong with the boy, nothing wrong with the girl, nothing wrong with them,
Well,
need to go
that
to church.
could be many reasons why, and two things I will mention, and then I will step down just so I can, see how the I guess the audience is operating. But two things I would say that I would love for us to someday not necessarily being a mental health scenario, but being just a sensitive, creative person and things that you have to be mindful of as you operate in the space of social media. Yes. Sometimes a level of sensitivity can cause you to come off as strange or even mentally ill when maybe you're not to that extent. You're just a creative, sensitive person. Yes. The part you made mention of, no, Bam Bam, that person, it could be that they're in denial, or it could be a religious aspect. Do you know why I stopped being a Christian? I stopped being a Christian because my experiences were not connecting with what I was taught to be as a Christian and how I was supposed to feel. And the persons that I spoke to around me would not allow me to feel how I was feeling. They were telling me that I shouldn't be feeling the way I was feeling. So if I felt sad or if I felt depressed, it was led to believe that maybe you were possessed or something was wrong with you. And Tiffany, I want you to look at Tiffany. I'm going to read. Welcome back, Starling. I'm going to read what Miss Wendy HGTV and also what Batonia said. So first of all, Batonia said, and sometimes people are afraid to help others because sometimes the same people turn around and hurt you. 100% correct. Very true. And Miss Wendy TV said, mental health is not easy to handle. You have to be equipped first with love, understanding, and patience. I think we need to learn about this disorder so we can have the skill set. Ladies, address this. That's valid. Yeah. But that is valid for sure. For any person who is in the trenches of dealing with someone who has a mental health difficulty, you need support. It's with 100% absolute certainty you need support. This is not something that you can deal with on your own. So yes. Usually in maybe taking this individual to the hospital or to their general visits.
Excuse me,
sometimes if it's a good doctor, they may ask you how you're coping and they may be able to recommend some community resources. Or maybe you've got to find a therapist. You know, and this is me speaking from this standpoint, not really having a whole lot of experiences when it comes to maybe having, well, I shouldn't say that, but I am not the primary caregiver. So I don't have the experience on that part of it, but you're absolutely correct. And you know, I might sound a bit, I'm not being naive again or facetious, I'm just saying, I notice a trend, ladies, on social media where people have a tendency to keep repeating some stuff all the time. It's like, I don't know. I want interaction here from you ladies to respond. Here's the point I'm making. So someone goes on social media and they're constantly making trouble. They'll criticize Bam Bam. They'll criticize Miss Wendy TV. They'll criticize Batonia. They'll criticize Tiffany. They'll criticize Starling. Even me, constantly. So every time they go on, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It never changes. They don't try to talk about mango. They don't try to talk about pear. They don't try to talk about plant. They don't try to talk about vitamins. They don't try to talk about carbohydrate. Nothing. They don't try to talk about something that affects the norm of our society. But yet, they come on and they'll talk about how nasty cheating men are or how wicked the woman there is. And it's the same thing all the time. And why she have to wear that? Or why she have to put on that? And it comes back to what was mentioned by Wendy TV about the love, the compassion that we have to try to show to others. And sometimes I think that some of these things are people that deep down inside, they might be borderlining. What do you ladies think about this? That person doesn't sound, something might be going on with them for sure.
Okay. The issue with that, Durval, and the fact is that one of the first things that we should always keep in mind is that every behavior serves a purpose, right? So the behavior may not be acceptable, quote unquote, the norm, but it serves a purpose. So if, let's just say someone comes on each night and they're regurgitating the same nonsense that they regurgitated many times before, they're looking for
A reaction.
a validation. Okay? Whether, you understand? So every behavior, one of the first things we should always think of is every behavior serves a purpose. No one just gets up and do anything without it serving a purpose. Whether it's tangible, whether it's sensory, whatever it is, whether it's physical, sometimes people would purposely get themselves in trouble so they could go to the doctor. You know why? Because you would go to the doctor, you go to the hospital, and you have 16 people around you giving you all this attention. Every behavior serves a purpose, right? So that is my answer to that. The next thing that
hypochondria.
I'm going to talk about a personal experience.
Yeah. Sure.
Mental health is something that if we care for our mental health half as much as we care for the physical body, I am telling you, we would live in a beautiful world. I remember when I had a boyfriend and he couldn't get it up. He was ill and he couldn't get it up, and this man treated me very well.
Yes.
I didn't have an issue with him. He didn't cheat on me. I never cheated on him. Our families knew each other. It was a loving relationship. But the sex was not there. He couldn't get it up. Okay? And we would do everything. He would go, he would get injection, and I would run from work because the injection's supposed to work for how much hours, and just with my luck as me get everything dead. Okay?
I get it.
So
I got it.
with the frustration, it was just overbearing, and I did not want to cheat because I loved him, and I know he was not a cheater. He did not cheat on me. So I'm always the type where, you give to Caesar what is due.
What Caesar, yeah.
Okay. It got to a point where I knew I was angry when one night we tried and nothing happened, and he looked at me and he said, "This is so frustrating. I feel like unaliving myself." And my response to him was, "Well, you do what you have to do." I said, "Oh no." When it came out of my mouth, I said that should have never been the response.
Yes. Fair enough.
But the frustration level, and I knew then on something was wrong. And you know what I did? I made an appointment to go see a therapist. And I would sit there every Tuesday, and lo and behold, she was a lovely therapist. I was fortunate enough, she was from Kingston. She was here in America, of course, and she came from Kingston, and she was married, and she lived in Pennsylvania. And we would sit and we would talk, woman to woman. And that was the first time I really got a taste of the benefits of mental health. And I sat there and I spoke to her, and I spoke to her, and I spoke to her week after week after week. And one of the things that mental health does that people don't talk about a lot of times is therapy is the step before medication, right? So when you do therapy, it's normally that you see a problem, it doesn't require medication just yet, you didn't jump off the cliff just yet, but you recognize that there's some bumps in the road, okay?
Yes, there's something there.
So you have to know yourself enough also. So when I would sit and I would go through these things with her and I would talk to her, one of the things I learned very early on is to identify how I feel. So when I tell you I am not upset, I am hurt, I know the difference. If I tell you I am not angry, I am frustrated, it's just that. There is a difference. Whereas before you would get frustrated or you're worried or something and it comes out all wrong and bubbly. As a Jamaican, I realized that happened to us a lot.
Thank you.
We use incorrect words to describe how we feel. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I learned very, very early to use the proper words for what I am feeling. And I would sit there and I remember when I said it to my girlfriend and I said, I need therapy because me now getting on and me frustrated and me need therapy. And she laughed and she laughed and she laughed. And her response to me at the time was, so you really ever sit down in a one doctor office to talk about some SEX? Me say, I sure will. I sure will. And trust me sit down there and me talk to the therapist, and she was good to me. And let me tell you, until this day, we are friends. And I'm telling you, the best thing that could happen to me is counseling. Because that situation required counseling, and I knew on a cultural scale, if I had gone to, my friends and say, hey, you know what, I think I need counseling, their response would have been, oh, I feel mad people that you can't just, you know what you do, go do this, go do that. No, I know myself and I know what I wanted and I did it. I was happy I did, and until this day, that was a milestone for me. I'm gonna read this.
Read the narrative.
Don't read it. Don't read this.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say that.
What Dina said. Dina, I just wanted to add this before we sign off. An area of my job deals with the legal aspects of people with mental health in diverting them away from the criminal justice pathways and into treatment programs. So it's like one pleading insanity. Because I have a little bit idea of if I'm pleading that way. Dina, I wish you could join into, but Bam Bam soon come off. But again, this is, I know I can't reveal much.
I'm gonna jump off.
I'm dealing with
but Montana is saying, should we believe someone if they tell you they're going to dirt themselves? You should have a concern. You should have a concern. You literally have to have a concern. Yes, we know people crave attention,
no matter what the situation is,
you have to have a concern.
Let me tell you something, and everyone knows this. If you have I'm just using a child as an example. If the child come to you and said, I'm being inappropriately touched, don't shrug them off. If Bam Bam go to Starling and said, Starling, I feel like I'm going to dirt myself, don't shrug her off. I deal with this a lot, and I'm acknowledging
you have to show some
I
concern.
deal with this a lot. And even Dana's comment, I'm dealing with 4 cases right now. 4 cases.
Because how would you feel if the person actually did it?
I'm dealing with that right now. Because even the people that I report to and have meetings with, seeing care plans upon care plans upon care plans, seeing things from the justice system, you're being sidetracked. And we won't touch on things, but I know you guys can read between the lines some of these lawyers, etc., etc. Yeah, they divert things different ways. People pleading insanity. I can't remember this, I can't remember that. I was going through this and going through that. We're not God to judge a situation, but sometimes we can identify when people play games. You can identify.
Yes, they're markers. They're definite markers. They're definite markers. And one of the things that, as a general public or someone who doesn't have the training or the proper assessment, one of the things that we should not do is take for granted what someone says. So Ansonia, one of the things is, if someone says, hey, I'm gonna go jump off a cliff, the truth is, you probably don't have the tools to say, well, there's a 70-30 chance that they may not. Chances are we don't have that tool, or we don't know what's going on in that moment. So we treat every situation accordingly. No, this is what is going to happen, Antonia. 2 things is going to happen when you treat a situation like that. So every time somebody said, hey, I don't feel like being here anymore, and you put in a phone call to the right authorities, it's either they're going to stop, if it's a manipulation process, you have now taken the weight off you because you have done your due diligence. So they will either stop the manipulation, or they will get the help that they truly need. Either way, it's a win-win for everybody. So treat every situation and treat every statement as if it was, this is what they're going to do. And like I said, don't worry about it. If you have to call somebody 15 times to tell them, hey, Mary Jane said to me 15 times that she going to jump off a cliff. Once you put in that call to the right authorities, you have elevated that situation. It's no longer on you. But if you think about it, let's just say you misjudge. If you misjudge the situation, then it's on you. And I don't think anybody would want that level of responsibility to know that I could have done something and did not do it.
You know, ladies, before, because it's 11 for Bamba,
Yes, 2 minutes past 11 now.
I'll share with you before I get off an experience that I had in 2019. So at the time I was on the lockdown unit, 2018, I was on the lockdown unit. And because I'm dealing with dementia and schizophrenia and Alzheimer, I was very passionate because I worked on that unit for over 2 years, right? So I'm gonna make it very quick. So I left one night and I was downtown of where I was, not downtown Toronto, but the downtown part of where I was living.
Bam went off. No, I'm sorry, Tiffany. Tiffany went off.
Tiffany went off?
Yeah.
But she might be listening, so I'm gonna make it quick. Okay. And I was standing, Starling and friends, and I at the time there was a Tuesday night and it was a wings night. So I'm sitting in this bar, after work. My shift was 2 to 10 at the time. And I had a few wings and I was standing outside and my eyes immediately caught a young man walking up the street with a backpack. A young man of color, right? A young man of color. And I don't know, it's like something inside me said to me again, and I've done this a lot, walk over to him, because he was walking, his head was bowed, talking to himself, looking back. So I crossed the street and I said, hey, come here, what's going on with you? And he said he was staying at the hostel and they kicked him out. I said, what happened? And he said, well, someone at the hostel, he had an argument with them and he was saying it was a race thing. He played a race card. Let's use that. They'll say it was using the race card. So I said, where are you going? He said to me, he's walking to Scarborough. So I said, what? So I said, who you know in Scarborough, right? And I know Tiffany knows and might know where I'm talking, right? And this was the eastern part of that, fast Pickering. So I said to him, we're going to sleep for the night. It's after 10, almost 11 o'clock. And what's going on with you? No, you can't do that. And friends, I'm telling you as God is my witness, I said, I'm going to take you to a motel. There was a motel around the corner and I paid for him for 2 nights. It was $80 or $90, I think it was at the time, per night. I said, I'll pay for you for 2 nights. And I'm telling you, just doing that for him, he gave one of the greatest sense of relief, because he said he needs a shower. And I bought him, it was a wings night, as I was saying, and I bought him 20 wings and took a ginger ale bought a ginger ale for him too. And I tell you, I could see the love, I could feel the joy, I could feel the sigh of relief. Because when that young man told me his story of his experience, what happened to him, what family members did to him, why he had to seek and who asked them to stay, and they kicked him out. I'm telling you, I said, where is the passion in humanity? And I made a promise to myself from that night, and I do it until this day. I don't care who you are. I don't care the situation that you're in. Once you come to me, I'm not saying things can't happen, people can't make up a story, but you have to have, as Wendy HDTV said, you have to have compassion in you. You have to have love. You have to have sense and sensibility. If you don't have these things, trust me, it won't work. It won't work. And this is why I so love this topic. I mean, thank you, Tiffany, for your input and your line of work. Starling, big up yourself. Danary, yes, big up yourself, because you're in an era where I know, as you described, is very sensitive. I know you see a many little this and that, and etc., etc. Friends, it was just awesome. Wonderful, wonderful conversation.
What a good conversation.
So,
I appreciate it so much. I have cold bumps all over my skin.
So we're going to have a part 2. We're going to continue this tomorrow. Yeah.
It's
And
pretty
different.
broad. Mental health
And
is
we're going
pretty
and
broad.
their valley.
And we just have to. Bottom line, for the night, we just have to keep an eye on each other.
Yeah.
Because depression isn't always cut and dry, and I can tell you this from years of being in the field. Depression often does not look how they tell us it look. Not because someone walk around and that is a part of it, but depression is very, very difficult to diagnose. It's not from one session or two. It's very difficult because it's going in depth. So it's not always cut and dry when you see something going on with someone. And keep in mind, no matter what is going on with someone, and this is what I use to keep myself grounded, whether you're on drugs, you're a prostitute, you're a criminal, whatever it is, the basis, the core of everyone is happiness. We all just want to be happy. If you were molested, if you were the victim, or whatever is happening, we all just want to be happy. So with that in mind, I have trained myself not to judge, because I realize at the core of everything, whether it's mental illness, IDD, or intermittent explosive disorders, schizophrenia, bipolar 1, 2, dementia.
Look here, we now.
The list goes on and on.
We are done now.
And we could sit here and go on. Whatever it is that we are going through, all that person wants is just to be happy.
Just to be happy. Awesome.
That's all we want. So with that, I am going to sign off for the night.
And I'm going to sign off too. And I also, before I get off, Miss Wendy HD TV, talking about the therapist. Yes, that's absolutely true. Therapists are expert at their job, and trust me, they know when people are lying.
No markers. So we have markers.
Get off the case. Get refuted.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, people. Yeah, man.
Miss Wendy HD TV, thanks for your input.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Miss Wendy, and giving your input. Yeah. Thank you for coming and giving your input.
You could join us in the next one. And I'm gonna sit here. I want the guys say guys, you know the routine. Let's talk about schizophrenia. Let's talk about post-traumatic stress disorder in our next conversation.
Yeah.
And Starling, I want you to bring forward some of your what do you call them, the jeez, you just mentioned them. Bring forward some of those.
Absolutely. We need to talk about split personality, disorder, disassociation.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk about multiple personality disorder.
All right, Bam, big up yourself.
All right, bless up.
Tiffany, big up yourself.
All right, everyone. Have a good night. And Tiffany, thank you for joining. It's been fun. Everybody in the chat, thank you. Appreciate it.
When Bam come off, I'm gone on TikTok.
All right, Bam. Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right.
So people, thank you guys. So you're here. They say, I definitely Dervala want to talk about multiple personality disorder. I read a book with someone who had multiple personality disorder, and I would like to get a wider clarification about it. Yes. So we could do it tomorrow night now. Yes. And thank you guys again. Hit up the like button before you go. And people, please to go over my other YouTube channel, Mom's Discussion and Vlogs, and watch the videos and give the thumbs up and leave and just interact in the comments. Please. All right then. Bless up on yourself and peace out.